Hello, everyone. Good day, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Super excited to have you here. So, a few months ago, a few months ago, June, July, we had a training session called Tech Deep Dive, and we had a particular learning track called Copilot. So, um, for me, I was very interested because I was like, what's the buzz about this artificial intelligence? Let me even see how it works, how I could use it. And prior to that, like a month before, 2 months before, we had someone tell us in the community because we have Saturday end of month sessions, inspirational sessions. Someone came and showed us how to use AI with Microsoft Excel. I was like, oh, okay. I thought we could only do that using text alone. And then, backtrack, somebody had people use it for graphics, for videos and images. And so I was like, yes, let me jump on it and let me start learning the course. And as we went on, we got some feedback. Some people were more interested. And they were like, oh, they needed to have like a full immersive session. And so, to every community member that's on this call, and for Rheayln, who is joining us, that's our guest, we have a community who have asked for this session specifically. And I am one of them. And yeah, so I can't wait for this immersive learning. And I want to welcome everyone that your feedbacks were taken. We have heard what you said. And so this session is for you, it's for us. It's the first Saturday in our sessions. And I would like to first of all welcome all our guests to Textilers. We're a community of ladies who have a superpower that we can use IT for to break barriers, to break through, and to do a lot of things. Textilers was founded in May 2023, 2020, and it's our fourth year. We did our anniversary earlier last month. And so we had ladies and gentlemen graduate from the cohort. That was cohort 5. We have cohort 6 coming up early next year. And so we believe our vision is to bring more women and supporters of women into technology by empowering them through tech skills, training, and mentorship. So the session is currently being recorded and to be available on our YouTube channel and all our social media platforms. Please pen down the questions you may have. Please mute your mic when you're not speaking. There's a Q&A session. There's a Q&A open right now so that you could put in session-related questions into the Q&A. And let's keep the chat buzzing as the speaker comes up, and let's have an engagement, having discussions around about it. So we want to say thank you. We have an active social media platform, especially LinkedIn, where we keep you informed of all our programs and everything that we do. We can't keep you in the dark. You are us. We are here because of you. And so we would like to say thank you so much for staying with us up to this time. We want to now tell you everything that AI for all is about. We will let you know that is for us. And I'll invite you into that.
Thank you so much, Amolara. Welcome everyone again. As we all know, right, AI everywhere, right? So the focus of this session is to run you through AI from ground up, because we know, and based on the feedback that we've gotten, a lot of people want to know what this AI is, what it's about, how it can benefit me, how it's being used in real life scenarios. So we recognize that we'll be at different points in our personal learning journeys for AI, but we're going to start from the very beginning. So this is not these sessions are not focused on, I want to get certified in machine learning or data science. No, it's kind of for you in your everyday life as someone who is in school, who is working, you just want to improve your own personal life as well. AI can also help you beyond the world of work. So that's what this 7 Saturdays is about. And I would like to ask you not to miss any of them, because we have amazing speakers lined up, experts in the different fields with years of experience coming to talk to us about AI in specific areas. So what we'll be talking about, we have Rheayln joining us today to lay that foundation to get us all excited about what is coming in the next couple of weeks. She's going to give us an introduction about AI, tell us what it's about, make our session is going to be really interactive. And I'm very excited that she said yes, because she's also a part of the women in AI here in Ireland, as one of the leaders. They're doing amazing things. So, and then we move into prompt engineering. Why, Sandia, we all hear about prompt engineering, prompt engineering. What is this prompt engineering about? And how does this impact what I get out of the various AI tools that are around us? Then we're going to bring on Joy, who's a well-seasoned security consultant, so many years of experience. So how do you ensure you're using AI in a secure way, right? Do you put everything straight into the chat GTP, into the LLM, into the AI tool, or are there certain things that I know for you to put into that? And she would also touch a bit on using AI responsibly. So that's Joy's session on the 21st. And then MJ is coming, the co-founder of Textilers, to talk to us about Microsoft 365 Copilots. So how can that help you improve your efficiency in your day-to-day life at work? I'll be talking about Copilot for the Power Platform, and then we're talking about building your own custom co-pilots. So you don't need to be a pro dev to actually develop some of these little bots on your own. So Jeshri is going to talk about that, and then we're going to explore some of these common tools together, and then how to use them. So there will be practicality, hands-on in Sandia's session as we close out. So that's the plan, and today is the first day. That said, we want to bring to the floor our special guest for today. Lara, do you want to do the quick introduction, and then we pass it back to her?
Yes, I'm all excited. So, I did a search about Rheayln and I saw that she is very, very involved in community work. She's involved in volunteering, and she is she's not just a person who, okay, backstory. This invite came to her in a short while, in a short time, and she accepted. So that's one of the very exciting things that um, drew my attention up to her. She has a master's in science in leadership, innovation, and technology from Technological University in Dublin. She's a founder, the tech founder. So women in tech, we can do this. Yes, we can. Representation is getting better. We can. And so in her spare time, don't worry, she's not just techie. In her spare time, she volunteers with Women in AI Ireland as a communication support person. And she's passionate about growth. When we started the course, she was all excited about this, and she was excited about giving back to the community. So she's passionate about growth, she's passionate about continuous learning, and she believes that it's key to growth, regardless of your stage in career, age, gender, race, or business sector. And she believes that lifelong learning continually shields us from all the evolving changes. IT is very, very fast paced. Our world is very fast paced, and a lot of things evolve. So she believes very much that we have to keep learning every day. And so I would mute my voice and please give the grandstand to Rheayln. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. And I will stop sharing as well. Over to you.
Yes,
it's absolutely
so let's
fine.
see your
And thank you
reactions
so
and your
much.
applause welcoming her.
That's very good. Thank you. That's such a lovely introduction there, Lara. Thank you for that. I'm actually really excited to be here, and I think it's really a privilege, to be in this community. And I love to be in communities where they like to learn and are curious and they love to know more, because I think that's how you grow. And it's really important who you're actually going with and in which community you're in, because that also reflects on what you do. So for me, I love growing and I love learning, and I'm glad to see this group, and was also very enthusiastic about what AI is, and not just AI, but things around technology, around digital. So it's great. So I'm going to share my screen now to get started, and I'd like to welcome everybody, though I can't see everyone, but I'd like to engage everyone in this session. My style of presentation is not more about me talking, because I won't learn from there. I'd like to learn as well from the audience, because I do believe the audience is so much knowledge, no matter what, and I know that majority of you probably is curious about AI, but I had to say, I'm actually assuming already you've heard about it, and some of you have already encountered about it, and probably you didn't know it's AI. So I'd love to actually get your engagement, hear from you, and all the sort of stuff that we're going to do today. Okay, so it's not much more discussion from me, but it's more community interaction, if you're okay with that. So I'd like to share my screen, but I don't think I have access to sharing.
Ah.
Your community is amazing. It's Saturday, but they're here.
Mm-hmm.
That's brilliant.
Yeah. Okay. Can you try again now?
Absolutely. Okay, that's me now. So I'm just going to share my screen. Can you see my screen now? Yeah?
Yes, we
So,
can.
great. Going to get started. I'm going to go back. I'm going to start first with asking, how's the audience today? What we're going to do is really just scan the QR code that you could see here, or you could go to the link, which is app.meetmoji. I don't know if anybody has used this before, but it's similar to the concept of Menti. And I'm actually really curious, as I was saying, this session would be more interactive rather than just me talking. I'd like to know if people are still here, especially you're spending your Saturday with me. So it's much more important that you're also being heard and that we get to know you, right? So if you could scan the QR code and let me know how you are today. Now, this particular section will give us more emojis, basically, how everybody is actually feeling at this point. Ooh, someone says on fire. Very good. We'll get the answer straight away from here. So, oh, somebody is sad. What's happening there? Oh, is everybody able to get the app or the code?
Okay, maybe we can paste it in the chat window
Sure.
for those who can't scan the QR.
We're just trying to do some temperature check. How's everyone?
Mm.
There's a question. You're all seeing my screen okay, right?
Yes.
Cool. Somebody's celebrating, which is amazing.
Yeah.
So we're getting some answers now. We're getting some answers. And mind you, it's AI working as well in the background, gathering all your information. So we're going to start from there, and then we're going to understand in practicality, what is AI? What does it do? And how are you actually using it? Because one way or another, all of you here has used it already. Right now we're using it. The very basic, the very least, we are using it. If you have a phone, for example, you're with AI, you're already using it. Okay, so let's see the temperature. Somebody's saying hello there, and that's great. So thank you everyone for participating. Although I have three feelings. Oh, somebody's laughing already. I don't know what's funny. But thank you for that. So what we're going to do is really just deep dive, not deep dive, but I'd say having that introduction of what AI is all about. The brief here is to just kick off your sessions in relation to AI. In my part, it would just be the overview of what AI is really, the benefit it brings us, and also some challenges and the risk that there is, and also how it's being used now in the society, and particularly you guys, how you're using it without you knowing. And how it becomes so much of a trend at the moment.
Yeah. Sorry
Is it
to
just
interrupt.
now? Yeah.
Please, can you was in the Teams window on top
Oh.
of your slide? Yeah, you could want to.
Oh, sorry. There you go.
Yes, all good now. Thank you.
I can see your face there. Okay, so that's basically what we're going to cover. So the discussion will cover about introduction to AI, how AI works, application of AI, the benefits of it, the challenges and the ethical considerations of AI. And I'm pretty sure that more in-depth discussion about this in relation to security will be discussed, as already given by Foyen a while ago for the overview, and of course the future of AI. And then we'll wrap up with some Q&A if that's all right. So I've already been introduced by lovely Lara, so I don't think I need to go through all of this. But just so you know, my name is Rheayln, I'm based in Ireland, and I'm very passionate about learning, not just AI, but anything, especially whatever is the buzz at the moment. I'm kind of curious, but expect I'm also learning. So I wouldn't know everything. If you've got questions that I'm probably not aware, or if you have something or you've experienced something that I'm not aware, I'm going to tell you, and I'd love to please share that with us, so everyone will actually learn. So the goal here is to really us to learn together as a community, and sharing each other's experience. All right. So I'm going to start first with a question of what is AI? We tried to actually have that a while ago, but I'd like to get it from the community itself in one word. What do you think AI is to you? So scan the code and perhaps in just one word, type in one word there. I'll be very curious what you think of it. Waiting. Hopefully you'll engage. So this is the waiting room now, and we're looking to see what you think of AI. What is it for you? A lifesaver? Amazing. This is really a brilliant Saturday. Just happy enabler. Wow. Big words here, big words. What's AI to you? I'll give you a minute to complete this. And I know some are still just getting started.
We can also put it in the Teams chat if you're not able to get on the Meetmoji. So we'll also track that for you, Rheayln.
That's great. Thank you. So we're getting actually answers now. Is an assistant. It's everything. Oh my God, that's huge. It's a human extension. Amazing. A helpmate. Beautiful. Okay. Thank you for that. Now, theoretically, and this is a definition from Britannica, AI is the same simulation of human intelligence in machines that are programmed to think and learn like humans. Isn't that powerful? And basically, in short, humans are creating AI in itself. Now, we're going to deep dive into, or just giving an overview of how AI really evolves. Is it just starting last year, or is it just in 2000s? Some people would think it's only this year, or it's only when ChatGPT was introduced in public. That's when AI really started. Now, we would like to argue that AI already started even the 17th or 18th century, the early concepts of it. But then it was formally, from the academic world, it formally started 1956 in Dartmouth University when they had this conference. And basically there was traction in the 1960s and 70s. So imagine it's been a long time ago that AI already started. There was optimism around it that intelligent minds could actually create this. But there was also some challenges. And the biggest challenge there, especially in the mid-1970s, is the funding. So they call it the AI winter. And what it means is that scientists, those genius, those intelligent people, would like to continue to actually really make it successful. The challenge is there's no money. as the biggest challenge everywhere, and even at this point, when you want to study something or you want to explore and build something, the challenge is always the funding. Majority, it's the funding. And that's what happened during the mid 1970s. There was AI winters and it's die down. And then boom when the computer really was there's more uses to computer 1990s and the early 2000s, as you probably all can remember, then starts the boom of the internet. The machine learning and data already started, and then so the decline has actually started by 2010s, this deep learning revolution, and now we're into the modern era. And to give you more of the background how it is, I got this from ourworldindata.org. You could also find it yourself. AI milestones, it really started way back. Well, academically, the first digital computers were built in 1940s. Why? Why would it start that way? When you think, no, it's only recent I'm hearing about it. It's because it all evolves in data. So when you've got computers, you've got users as well that type in whatever they want to search or put in information or upload any files. So the more data you feed to the computer, the more AI will be growing. And this is why it's only recently that it's really becoming public, and that public is embracing it, is now feeling it. But without knowing that way back, even centuries ago, it's already there. It's just the data were not collected together. They were not put together, like, to make it comprehensible for human being to use it. It's only really when computers were being used and built. So the first microprocessor was actually started way back 1970. Slowly and slowly we're building it. 1990s, the early days of the internet. That's when things really get started. And then when phones, especially smartphones, already introduced, there was really growth in AI. So the more data you feed to this system, to this platform, the more the AI will grow. And it's going to grow bigger and stronger and brighter and more intelligent than you can imagine, because it's all fed with data. And the more people use phones nowadays, and I'm sure this group here is actually using phones, the more you use it every day, every minute, the more you're building AI, the more you're feeding AI what it actually needs. And the people behind working on it is just trying to actually put together these data into a more cohesive, understandable, and usable way for our consumption. So that's basically the historical milestone in it. And then we move into the different types of AI, basically, the capabilities. Are you still all with me? You can see you on the screen. Sarah, just making sure you can see my screen here.
We're here.
Perfect.
We can see your screen. We can hear you.
Very good. Thank you. Okay. So now we're going to deep dive into types of AI. So there are different types of AI. I think this is not really the limited list in it, but it's just a very common. And you guys probably would be aware on this. So there's AI based on capabilities and AI based on functionalities. What it really means, so I'm not going to go into very technical here. What it really means is the Siri you're using. You know, if people are using Siri, iPhone, or probably Alexa, this one is based on capabilities, and there are different three types of it as well. But also there's based on functionalities or very self-aware AI, for example, the self-driving cars, okay? You've heard probably about these things. So there are different types, but we're going to go through now in details different usage of it. Regardless of what type of AI it is, you're probably already using them, even in your computer when you're actually on the cloud and trying to use Excel and trying to do whatever sort of stuff on the data there. At some point, there's AI intervening in your work. If you're doing PowerPoint and trying to rearrange things there, or even use a design in the PowerPoint, there's already some AI already working, but based on capabilities, the light ones. And you might think, oh, really? Is there AI? But if you're really very aware of what you're doing at the moment in your computer or on your phone, or when you do Google search, for example, when you type in where is, and then it immediately gives you or suggests to you different types of questions, there you go. AI is already in the background for you. So the very basic that you're using digitally, there's AI. As long as there's data, there's AI, because that's what it's actually, it feeds. And so I'm going to ask you a question about what's your first reaction when you heard the word AI? Not just today, but probably when the buzz of AI already was global. So you can scan again the code and perhaps participate on it, or you can send your answers in the chat if you'd like. Are you able to get in here? Oh, excited. Very good. 100%. People are excited. I love that. Skeptical. Yep, that's a very good point. Now it's changing. You can see the data is now changing. I'm using AI to help me understand as well, the community in itself. Not really sure. At least nobody says they're scared. But it's showing that some are saying 12.5% of you is saying not sure what it really is. It's actually amazing. Some are excited about it. And some are saying it's more of the jobs. Majority is saying the jobs. And I suppose that's actually very common. It's not just in this community, but it's all around us. There's some doubts around it in terms of the impact in job. And let's face it, when there's change, there's also changes to jobs. There's also changes to the community around us. What is going to happen? Because if you actually could think about it in the past, way back in the past, we don't have this kind of phones. We don't even have this powerful virtual meets MS Teams, for example. It was very hard for the previous generations who have no smartphones, but they live. And then slowly, computer actually was introduced, and then smartphones were introduced. Then some of the jobs before that you probably may not even experience are already changing and have already been changed. But of course, people still have jobs. It's just the jobs are now evolving. And this is also quite important to note. In our session is one of the things I'd love to highlight, the evolving skills, basically, and how we could keep up with it, especially that some are skeptical on how it impacts their jobs. I'm not going to lie, it will impact our jobs, but it's not going to change us as a better human than AI. AI could be really smarter. The more you feed data on it will understand more. However, it's not going to be as same as human. So we could actually discuss that in some way. But I'm glad to see now the data is actually quite changing very drastically. So now have like 45% excited and some are skeptical. There's still some who are not sure. Okay. That's great. Well, I love the honesty and I thank you for that. So as we continue, we're going to talk about how AI really works. So this is now all about machine learning, neural networks, just a basic concept of it. So as mentioned to you, AI is really all about data. It's growing and it's growing fast because we're feeding it. We're actually feeding it with data. The more people feeding information, the more people using digital, the more it's actually going to grow and the more it gets smarter, because there are also people working in the background where they're also trying to model the algorithms. And this is why we call it the neural networks. So they're just the basic concepts that I'm just going to share to you. And probably some of you here working already in the AI industry, whatever your work is, you're probably more advanced than what I've actually shared in here. But just in the basic concept, because I don't want to bore people with more technicalities in it. What machine learning is really about subset of AI where machines learn from data. Just the basic of it is where machine learning is all about. The neural networks in particular is of a higher level where algorithms are modeled. This is really huge files of data, and basically the genius working behind the background. What they're really doing is try to actually duplicate the human brain and try to understand how human brain works, and then also feed into the algorithm so that it will identify some patterns of recognitions and a lot more things that it could do. And that's basically two concepts, but we're going to put it in more practical and realistic example in the next couple of slides. Okay, but think about it. We have machine learning, the basic one, it's feeding data, but the other part is the neural network in itself. It's trying to really work it out, model the whole data in itself, so it can learn like how humans learn. It can, but it actually is being fed into a pattern. So there's now more pattern recognition. So the more people using it, and the more it can identify that majority of people on a Saturday are more relaxed, then it probably will then answer questions like, okay, people are more relaxed on Saturdays. So it's feeding into patterns. Now that's just basically a very basic example I'm giving you, but the deeper end on it is more usage into different kind of industries, into what you're using in your computer. So we'll probably get a deep dive on it into the applications of AI. So this one now is where the reality fits in, where AI is. It starts with your smartphones, as what I was saying to you. You're using it at the moment. I'm probably confident you guys, all of you, have smartphones, but there are those that choose to just the simple phones because they don't want to get distracted with whatever is in their emails and social media and all the likes. But smartphones, for example, has so much AI which you probably wouldn't realize. The voice assistants like Siri, the Google Assistant, for example. In fact, those who have smart homes. So if you have Alexa in your house, it's probably listening to you all the time and trying to understand who you are. You're actually feeding the information already. But with your smartphone, if you enable your voice assistant like the Siri or the Google, it's probably knowing already who you are, who's using the phone. And that's where AI comes into play in your smartphone. So probably some of you, or a majority, have been to YouTube trying to watch stuff, or really on weekends probably watching something in Netflix. There's AI around there where there are times you'd be surprised, probably not surprised, it's probably just already getting it as a habit wherein you type in something and then it gives you some recommendation what you can watch next, because it already understood some patterns of your watching behavior, or your behavior watching YouTube or something like that. And then you'd be like, it's actually suggesting me another video when you didn't even search for that video. It's because it's already understanding the pattern or your behavior when you're using YouTube. So when you first started searching, okay, textilers YouTube video, and then you'll be surprised the next day, you'll be shown with so many options of textilers and video, deep dive tutorials that they did previously. You probably won't wonder anymore because you're kind of used to it. But in reality, AI is actually following you. Well, it's not following you, but AI was actually trying to study your pattern, your behavior, and your usage online. Okay, that's recommendation system. In healthcare, this is huge because it will help us save lives. There's a lot now going on, the studies in diagnosing diseases. You're probably all very aware of that. AI comes into play in analyzing medical images, for example, the scans, and personalizing treatment plans. It's huge as well in transportation, such as the self-driving cars. Now, it can be argued some are still not bought into it because of its safety. But the more there are actually arguments around it, the more people behind it are studying to perfect it. Because, of course, it's all algorithm that you need to study. So self-driving cars that is used to navigate around the road and make decisions while on the road, like without anybody there, that's AI time. And of course, I mentioned to you about the search. At the airport, there's so much AI all around you. You scan your passport. Even when you fly, there's AI assistant there for the pilots. You might think, this is basically a plane. There's so much AI involved around there. In education, what we're doing now, there's so much AI-powered tools that you could use. Teams, for example. Now in Teams, it's already upgraded to different functionalities where you can change your avatar. That's AI for you. Or you can have a background. Like now, I have a blurred background. There's so much working on that. So those are just basic examples, but how much more in the whole education sector, for example, there's so many tools that they're using. Just because they're named different tools, just because it's named Teams or Google Meets or something, doesn't necessarily mean they're not AI. There's AI involved around it, because now we're recording our session. That's AI being fed now at the moment of what we're talking about, and it's listening to us. But that's the application of AI in general, and I hope I didn't confuse you with that, because what I wanted to know here is, it's your turn. What exactly are the AI tools you've used recently? Out from the session now, from the discussion. If you now recall, what are the different AI tools you've used recently? Get a QR code or type it in the chat. I would love to know. And just, because there could be tools that you're using we are not aware, or I'm not aware. I could show you also some examples of the tools I've been using most of the time. So then you get some understanding. Now, this is me and my daily lives using AI, but you probably have your own tools. So it would be great if you could share. Oh, Jimana. That's really interesting. ChatGPT. Yep, Meta, Gemini, perfect. Now we're talking. Claude AI, oh, that's amazing. Perplexity, ooh, beautiful. Use them too, but I'm kind of curious about Gemini. Who actually said this? Can you share what exactly is Gemini? I haven't used it. Someone from the audience? Shy, okay. Copilot, yep. Anything else? Asana, oh, a lot of project management tools now have actually AI. Well, because there's so much data now on their side that they can really enhance the functionality of their tools. CapCut, perfect. Very good. Meta AI, yes. They're big into this now. Social media we were feeding it with AI. So basically it's enhancing every time. AI Thor, Humanizer AI, brilliant. Gamma, there's a lot. There's so much. And what about video tools? Anybody using here? A lot now. Very common, very good. What I'm going to do is I'm going to share to you some of the tools I'm using to help, helping me from time to time what I'm doing in video. Oh, I love in video. They're amazing. Does anybody use Pictory AI? Otter, that's another one. Cyprian, you were saying, yeah, this group is really good with AI. They're using it already.
Yeah.
When it was serious previously. Yeah, when we were talking, preparing for this session. It's amazing what people can actually have used. Assista. And you know what? I throw this question really because I'm curious myself. There might be tools I haven't used, so this would be great. I'm very curious about Gamma. I'm not quite sure what it is. Pictory, I love it. I have them. Where is the other one that I have? Hey, Jen, nice. It's a lot now. Wow. That's brilliant. So would we come to a conclusion that everybody here knows what AI is? Because it looks like a lot of you are already using it in video, Synthesia. These are powerful tools. I don't probably need to. Who's coming in there? Sorry. Okay, so I think we could come to a conclusion. We're using AI at some point. So many of them. That is great. And we could share as well all these after the session, the collected data we have, because our AI will share. So to me, I would like to conclude people now feel the benefit of what AI is, right? So, oh, they're still. So now we're coming into the next question. Because you're using AI, in one word, what benefit would AI bring to you? Scan the QR code or type it into chat to share it with us. What's the benefit of Magic? This is an AI. Okay, or Synthesia. I'd love to hear from everybody. And I think what is great with having this community coming together to learn is really sharing each other's knowledge. Better designs. Brilliant. I agree with that. Simplicity. Cool. Quick present. I love that. I'm telling you, that helps a lot with presentation today. And I think the community can help with each other by sharing the tools they're actually using. And that's how I know some AIs. Now, I don't know all other, I'm sure there are so many AIs being developed, AI tools. Like whatever data is in there, some people are building it to form as a tool. I'm sure there are certain tools that's being actually developed right at this time. Some are already going live at this time. Some are planning to deploy it either today or tomorrow. We just don't know. Different tools are coming the way. But what is important with having this kind of community curious about what AI is the sharing, coming together and sharing what you've actually known and what AI tool you've used. Sometimes you come to somebody and you said, oh, I struggled really with my presentation or with my thesis last night or blah, blah, and someone tells you, do you know Perplexity? And I love Perplexity in academic research because it gives you some references in there of all the AIs that I've used. And then someone would come to you and says, do you know Consensus? And that's another academic tool with AI. And then you'd be like, oh, wow. But this is the importance of having community. One thing that AI doesn't have is the community, human brains coming together and really sharing what you have, your experiences. It's something that is unique in all of us as humans. See? Better design. Some people are getting started. That's great. We all start somewhere, but having this community as a whole is actually going to help you when you're starting only understanding AI. Be with community, keep up with whatever the community shares. I'm with a couple of communities of people who are loving AI, but it's not very much techie. People would actually raise questions. Do you know any tool that can do this and that? And then some people are so good at it and they will share you, okay, this tool, try it. And that really is where some experiences and some knowledge sharing comes into play. And that's why I love that you got this community, because when AI is growing, you need a community as well with varied experience and varied knowledge of AI experience can actually share, because our uniqueness is what makes us really good. So this is great. Knowledge expansion. And this is quite interesting when you say knowledge expansion and then there's simplicity. Some people get confused now and get a bit, overwhelmed with so many choices. So sometimes getting started at AI is an advantage because some people have known a lot already of tools that they can use as AI, gets overwhelmed that they get nothing done. They know Adobe Photoshop, and then they have Canva, for example, which also has AI on its own. And then they know PowerPoint. And then you're given only an hour to make a presentation. But because so many tools you've actually used, you get confused. You actually take, sometimes I've experienced that myself. I'm guilty with that. Sometimes I take more time thinking which tool I'm going to use in order to do the presentation. And there was one moment when I ended up using PowerPoint, as simple as it is. As much as I have so many different AI tools that I can use, like this Bitmoji, for example, I decided at one point, this is one of when I'm doing my postgrad diploma course, and we were asked to do some presentation. It took me the whole night to decide which tool I'm going to use, because this tool is powerful, the other tool is powerful, and I'm like, okay, I just needed something that presents the idea of this and my research. Sometimes, if the more you know what AI tools you have out there, the more overwhelming you can become, and then you won't get the things done when you have the tools. But it does take you some simplicity. You just have to plug in what you need. But one thing that I'd like to remind everybody, now that you're exploring different AI tools, is that make sure you read what's in there. because whatever you feed to AI, it just gives it back to you and from general form. Sometimes you really need to tailor it according to your need. If you're doing research, for example, you gotta read it. You gotta make sure is this exactly what I want? Because AI is there to simplify our work and expands our knowledge. It can help us design things, and it's actually good for quick presentation. It does not bring itself the uniqueness on its own from your own personality. And why? As I was saying to you, AI, all these tools with AI functionalities, they're all feed with data that is available in public. So basically, if it pulls out information, ChatGPT, for example, it's going to give you answers that's already out there in public, but it doesn't have the uniqueness in you as a person who has so much skills, knowledge, who has studied years in the university. So you have to bring that uniqueness now into that. So once AI has given you some answers or better designs, then you actually have to bring out your own personality as a person and say, is this really something what I want? Then you inject your own personality. Like I'm presenting now, I could have chosen AI to put all of my screens together. But I didn't, because I have a different style and I prefer to actually hear from the community itself. So that's when humans stand out. If you know how to bring out your own personality, your uniqueness and your skills, plus with the AI tools that you have, you got a powerful combination. But just AI alone, yes, it's amazing. You type in something and then in video gives you a video, or in Pictory, you put the context in it and then it gives you a video. And you'll watch the video and you're like, nah, I don't think this is something I'd like to present. That's when human intervention is very important. And that's when you can never be replaced as a human, because there's something going on. Like textilers, for example, you guys would have your own personality as a community. You might be using different tools in order to put together your meeting, your virtual meeting. You've got MS Teams, but you know that you can't argue that without Foyen, without Lara, for example, and just AI runs it. Just imagine how disastrous can it be when just everyone just go in and then watch AI, or allow AI to do the presentation without the intervention of the amazing Lara or Foyen, the founders that you have, and without the community. It would be completely different. So it does benefit us, and it actually simplifies things if it's really that complicated. But we gotta take it with a pinch of salt. This is what I'm gonna say it, and because sometimes some people would be very dependent around it and wouldn't even think for a second, is this really it that I want? You need to always make sure you put yourself in the middle there. Is this what I really want? Okay, because I think Lara, for example, could actually choose somebody else, or maybe decide, okay, we won't need Rheayln anyway. We have AI to explain to us what AI is. Right? But no, that's not a way, because they're very dedicated to the community to share knowledge. Instead, we're bringing humans to explain what AI is and really try to inject our own personality there. So this is also the importance of bringing AI, using its benefit, but always make sure you use your own personality, your skills and experience around it. So in this section, this is just more of other type of benefits that I'm going to present to you, but it's in a simplified form. It is really making things life easier. It's very efficient when you have so much data around it. Like example, your Excel, so much numbers in it. It helps you, of course, because it can process large amounts. Accessibility now. This is key, because those who are actually having some challenges in reading or talking or all these kind of stuff, this is where AI really comes into play, that helps so much with accessibility. And of course, innovation. And I do believe that with innovation, it drives it, but never would it actually succeed without human brain, because innovation in its own, it's not just about technology or digital. It's all about us making something or making things better, right? But with the use of AI, it makes things faster. And that's really as a whole in itself. So I'm just conscious that we might be running out of time. So I'm going to jump into the challenges and ethical considerations. with all the discussions that we have, I'm actually very curious. What do you see as one of the biggest challenges of advancing artificial intelligence or AI? In your QR code or in the chat, let us know. Do you think it will actually? Bias and unfairness in systems. I love it. Potential for misuse or hacking systems. Spot on. Interesting. Anyone else? The three answers. You can also chat it, or you can send it via chat. I mean, what you think are the biggest challenges in advancing AI? Lack of transparency in black box models. Ooh, very interesting. And you see, you probably already have an idea on these things. Let's discuss about biases and unfairness in systems, because that's actually spot on. And this is where women, and I know we've got men in this community, and I'm just going to try to differentiate this, because just imagine this, all the data being formed in the background, right? Trying to really do the models of algorithms of all data in the background. Previously, early years where computers there, when I started here as a project manager in a fintech company, all developers we have are men, right? So imagine how men works, their brain and everything. Nothing against men, please forgive me if you're getting offended, especially in this community. Of course, men and women have differences in the way you think. And sometimes the designs could be men-driven, and you could tell by the way how males would actually work in their heads. And if you only have men developers in tech or in the AI industry building these tools, imagine how it would work. It will be having more preferences of men. And the early days of ChatGPT, I'm sure majority of you have used it. When you ask the question, it usually uses the his when it's all about, there's some kind of CEO. If a CEO is this and this, what do you think the CEO will do? And the answers will be, he will be. Immediately, he, because it's a CEO. And then when you asked about things that relates to women, then it automatically puts she. So there was already unfairness and biases around it. And this is very important. Why we need to encourage women in tech, women in digital, in AI, to actually promote more of it, of the jobs. So at least there's balance, because that's actually another challenge that we'll get there. The systems in itself, if it's all built by men, then the answers or the output would be very much dominated around the gender of whoever built it. But that's why it's good to have always the diversity, so that you could mitigate the bias and unfairness in the systems. Potential job disruption, absolutely. And the reason is because things are really done in fast and efficient way, as we've already discussed about benefits of AI. It's very efficient. Don't get me wrong, because jobs will really evolves, right? Maybe those manual jobs are already gone, but then there's another job that's needed in order to keep up with what is new at the moment. And what we could say is critical thinking is quite important. And this is what I was saying a while ago. You're using AI, bring yourself in there, bring your own uniqueness and your personality, because this is now what industries are looking for. We no longer want someone who could answer and define what is AI. That's really exactly, because I could just Google it myself. This is why I want to involve everybody, because now there is more interaction, there's more uniqueness. And I would expect you guys would also prefer something different rather than me lecturing all what I can Google and then put it on the slide. That would be different. So potential job disruption, that is true. And I don't think we can deny that. We can even ignore that. It's going to happen, and it's probably already happening. But what is important is you want to keep up. And this is why I love learning, because I don't want to get stuck with being just, in the background doing admin. Maybe something else different. Now, what is important is we can engage ourselves in the community, because AI might be able to engage, but very differently. You see, if we actually keep up with ourselves and what is happening around us, we know how to get by it. And although there will be job disruption, you know that you could evolve yourself as well. If AI can evolve, I'm sure human beings can too. The potential for misuse and hacking system, that's a biggie, and this is why this is also importance of security, and I'm sure there'll be a deep dive in relation to this kind of challenge in terms of AI. And in Europe, for example, really European Commission are working in relation to this protection of our own data, that it should not be used, because majority of work sectors, industry are already using tools at some point where there's AI. And when there's AI, there's data captured. And when there's data captured, there's a tendency your own data could be shared somewhere it's already in public. But the hacking is one big thing that is really of a concern. And that's why more experts in this field would be great. That's why they get paid very well, also to protect the systems. And the lack of transparency, I do agree in this. And I think it's a work in progress all the time. And there are really challenges around it. That's why there are people still skeptical and hesitant to use AI. But that's why if you're actually using tools, you just have to be mindful of how you use it and what information you share in there. Because all these are realities. And of course, AI is powerful. It simplifies our jobs. It makes everything easy. But we cannot deny that there's always risk, and it's the reality of life. Whatever new things coming in, there's risk around it. So that's just what we need to be mindful about. So the challenges: bias and fairness, you've already mentioned it, the privacy, and the job displacements. So that's exactly you guys have actually shared to us at the moment. And what's the future of AI would look like? So my question to you now is, if you can see the future, what do you think AI will evolve into? Scan the QR code or send it in the chat. Are you still with me, or have I exceeded my time?
We're here. It's a deep question.
It's a deep question. It is. I'm very curious what people are thinking in relation to this, because there's so much going on now with AI. But what do you think AI will evolve into? This is now using your creative thinking, guys. I could just Google it, but no, because I know each of you are unique and you have something in there that Google doesn't have. So I prefer to ask you.
Yeah.
Ooh.
So this one is from me. So I think we may actually get to a point where we would have like robots working alongside us, not just behind the systems, but actually having like physical employees.
But that's actually spot on, because there are restaurants who have robots now.
Yeah.
There are those who are already in the kitchen cooking with people.
Yeah.
Like,
So
imagine that.
I think we'll get to a point where they will actually be in the workplace alongside the humans. I don't know if I'll still be alive then, though. Maybe.
Would you like to be alive to see that then?
I don't know. I'll probably have retired by then and watching from the back seat.
But you see what's amazing with humans? Okay, let's say robots will be the employees, right? We will be sitting down programming them. And I'm not saying just technically, but it's really, this is where our own creative, unique experiences and minds as person comes into play, because robots won't have that recorded in their system. Like Foyen's own mind is always unique. No matter what, it will be you, or Lara's own is always her own. That not even computer can copy it. How she feels later, the computer won't be able to predict. But this is where we come in, as you know. And it could be scary for others. It's a competition to human being, absolutely. But you see, it can't compete you, because you're not always online. You're not always online to feed what you're feeling. So say, for example, you, Foyen, you probably have some feelings later that computer would not know. Even your phone wouldn't know. And even if you don't, like, even if you post on Facebook that, oh, you're so excited, it was so amazing, blah, blah, blah experience you have. But deeper than you, it's probably the opposite. Computer doesn't know that. And you see, that's very unique. So in the future, although it's a competition to human, there's no way it still will be human. It would still be artificial, right? It would be our helpers, yeah, but this is where we develop more of our creativity, our creative thinking, because in no way it can copy. Like, this is me believing in it, and maybe I could be wrong in the future too. And there could
Yeah,
be,
I,
because
I
there could
think
be
so.
scientists. Yeah, there could be
I,
scientists really, but I have to say, there are already organizations trying to study how people feel, and it's trying to get into the emotion, the human emotion, how we actually respond, how we feel when we feel sad, when we feel lonely. I don't know how deep it can go, but that's also the next target. That it's not only the mental thing, the brain that they're trying to work out. It's also being emotionally human there. And that's where the question is. But I think one key element for us is we shouldn't stop evolving as human being too. Because you could see how AI is evolving. Before we didn't feel it. We only have calculators and we thought that's all it can do. But now we have Excel and all other powerful tools online. So if these tools have evolved, the question is, have you evolved? Because if you're still stuck from the past until now, you're still the same, maybe then that is the big concern, that it can replace humans. It can even do the work that humans do. So it's a question more of, if AI will evolve, will you evolve? What would you do to keep up? Is my question. And this is really to sum up all our session for today. I see
thank,
robots, robots, robots. Yes. So, any questions for the session?
Thank you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. This has been so interactive, and it's been really great to see the engagement with the community. I was monitoring the people that joined, and I can see that it
Okay.
only continued to increase and increase. At the moment, we have 34 people, and it just sustained. Like, we didn't have any drop-offs, which shows that the
Ah,
engagement
that's great.
was really amazing. So thank you so much for spending your Saturday with us. As well, so I don't know if you have any questions for Raleigh before we call it a day. There's a lot to take away for
There's a
me, and I
lot.
think that the yes, and the key thing is that authenticity.
Don't worry.
your
At least we know
your
you're not robot.
And your
your
authenticity.
authentic, yes, your authentic
Thank you.
self, right? Bringing your authentic self. I remember I did a video for Avanad, and I started a bit, like I was talking about AI and the use of AI where I work, and I started a bit, and I'd done it so many times, and I got exhausted, and I sent it, and the lady was like, "Yes, we love it. We love that you stuttered. We love that you stammered a bit, because that shows that it's authentic." So I think that
Mhm.
with the more AI comes to us, the more people will be looking for authentic messages.
Message. Yeah.
Like, someone wrote a thank you message to the team, and I was like, this is so co-pilot. Like, just kind of, oh, all of the paragraphs and the heavy wording
Yeah.
and the
Yeah.
structure, and it was just so perfect. I was like, there's no way human generated this. He just went to
Yeah.
co-pilot and said, write me a thank you message to my team members for and he just forwarded it to us. So people know when it's authentic, and people know when it's AI behind the scenes. So I think for me, that's a really, really key takeaway. So do we have any questions before we just take our announcements? And yeah, I think I saw someone's hand up. Okay. No, so I'll just share the screen from my end. So
In my
very
head, I
quick.
was like, if there are questions, I'm trying to go to my chat GPT now.
To get the perfect answers. So, following from what you said, um, we will like we've been kind of in the search for volunteers for a while, and we'll continue to do that because I can see that a lot of our community members are already using different type of AI tools, and our last session is actually focused on demonstration of common AI tools, and I have two volunteers already. Thank you so much. So we'll be bringing them on board to demonstrate how they use some of those tools and how it benefits them. So if you're also interested in volunteering for Techstylers in any other way outside of mentoring or talking about AI, the volunteer form is in the chat. If you want to become a part of our community, a member, I'll also post this link in the chat. Please feel we have WhatsApp and Discord. The 50% vouchers is still up for grabs. Special thanks to Hashem for the sponsorship for those who want to get certified in Microsoft Certs. And our session continues next week. So next week, we're going to talk about prompt engineering, and we're going to bring another seasoned AI woman to come and walk us through that. Okay, so that said, I think there are questions in the chat group. One, today's slides. They're not actually like slides, but I think that link
It's AI
is
slides. No, I will share,
the
including the
link.
answers from the team
Okay.
or the community. So it does bring everything together, and that's the beauty of it. There's input from the community in the slides, so definitely. I think there's a question
Okay.
here for you, and somebody
Yes,
says,
there's.
um,
Mm-hmm.
my question is that what will be the best careers we can think on working on as AI evolves? It's a very powerful question. Victor, right? Thank you for the question. Yeah, it's something that I'm even thinking as well, because I need to evolve. When I started here in Ireland, I was a project manager, and then people keeps bringing project management tools. And in my head, okay, well, you can have the tool, but it's still different when you as a person, as a project manager, where you need to communicate to people, coordinate all this and that. AI won't do that. It just keeps reminding you with emails. So think about it. I would have to say it depends where your interest is. Interest always comes into play, your personal interest, because I could say to you, you can be an innovator. And what does that really mean? It depends on the field you're in. Be very observant and always be someone, and I'm sure people who are here in this group are already curious people. And I love that. That is the start. I have to say, keep that curiosity going, because that will save you and your job, and that will save your career. Be curious around you in your environment. And there's no straightforward answer to this, because we all have different industries. Our industries will evolve as AI evolve. But what I could say is that curiosity, that humbleness, that humility to learn all the time and observe and be willing to join in community and try to immerse yourself with new information, new tools, or new trends, for example, is what will keep you alive in the game and in the industry. Because your industry could say project managers in the future will be needed, or software developers, and all of a sudden AI creates a tool that just develop codes, which is already happening now, wherein you just have a drag and drop to build a website, or to create an app, you just go to ChatGPT's API and you do the code, right? And then you'd be like, oh, I thought software developers or software engineers are needed. And maybe something else then. Maybe the architects are needed. But maybe then in the future it might evolve. So what I could say, there's no stable answer. But what is important is to keep your personality there, your interest there, and of course, as being human. Be curious all the time. That will actually save you. So when you know that, okay, there's something going on, learn it if you can, if you're interested, because there's no one specific career that will actually keep you into your job. It's actually now evolving all the time, because in the future human or AI could actually communicate well, can talk, and can tap somebody else, because there's now robots, right? Then you might think, okay, then I'm gone, I'm replaced. Maybe not, because then you know already you're ahead of it. So what I would really try to suggest to everyone, and even to myself, I'll just get curious all the time. I continue evolving. I quit my full-time job last year because I was so passionate about digital that I founded my digital projects, and this is more to do with search, online search, and helping businesses really put up their business online and get seen in the search, in the Google search or Microsoft search, because I think that it's quite important to to level the playing field out there. There are people who are not able to afford thousands of euros or whatever to actually put up something online. And in my head, okay, I'm going this way, but maybe next year my business would be different. I would not say it's going to be stuck there, because I got to keep an eye on the trends. And this is the same as for everybody. Wherever you are in this field, there's no one right answer to this, but only one thing: keep that curiosity going. It will help you.
Perfect. Sounds good. Like they say, the jobs our children are going to do doesn't even exist today. So I
Yep.
think it's that continuous evolving that is most important, and being continuously curious. All right. We've come to the end of today's session. Please, if you enjoyed it, invite people from your network. I've put in all the links there. If you'd like to connect with Rhealy, she's on LinkedIn. I put her LinkedIn on as well. So please feel free to connect with her even outside of today's call. And we'll continue next week. Important to note that our Textilers Evolve conference comes up in October as well, the 26th of October. So we're all ramping up towards that.
Mm.
Okay, yes. All right, everyone. Stay curious. Once I get the slides, I'll pop them across to everyone who registered for the session. Enjoy the rest of your Saturday. Thank
Thanks,
you so
everybody.
much.